Hello everyone, welcome on back to Survival Challenge. Alright, so I think first things first, we'll get that field down there planted. That way we have it, out of the way. Then we can start focusing on the harvest. We have 2 harvests today, both of the canola fields. Hopefully we can at least get them plowed up. Obviously that one will need to be extended some, which will mean it needs to get limed. Kind of curious if that one will need lime too, because obviously the fields are getting a little bit older now, so they're going to need a second time eventually. Obviously that field's going to get all of it regardless, because why would I do, just the extended piece when I can just do the whole thing? So yeah, I'll probably do sorghum in here. I figure that's probably going to be fairly good with, obviously, the chickens. Seems to be one of the better crops to honestly do for them. And the chickens ate about 1,000 liters of food last night, or over the night. So that'll be meaning that we should be able to get more in the future. I'm probably going to wait for them to obviously do a full month, combined with all the young'uns, obviously being fully old enough so they can actually lay eggs and everything. Alright, let's get this on. Kinda want to do steering assist. It makes this a ton easier. There we go. Yeah, this will go nice and quick. The solar panels on the chicken pen. Last month, it got us $500. Obviously, that was probably about half a month. It was probably around noon by the time we placed it, so we're probably looking at $900,000 a month. Still a couple months out from buying land. Really, what we're waiting on is the winter, because that'll be when we'll have, obviously the peas will be sold, canola will be sold, any sort of eggs that we'll have will be sold. Decent amount of things, will be sold this winter, just like it was last time. I might skip a couple months once we get a little bit closer to that point. Because obviously, like, once both the canola fields are replanted, well, that's gonna be a while until we really need to do much with them again. I'll probably put oats in them. That's why I'm thinking, because that'll be something we can sell this winter. Then be nice, I don't know, 20 grand or something this winter. Obviously sorghum, that'll all go to the chickens. Which I think this will be ready in the winter time as well for harvest. I think I'm going to try to, whenever there's not much going on, see if I can skip a month here and there so we can try to progress things a little bit faster. It's definitely not as fast of a progression as some of survival challenges in the past have been, which is fine. I mean, honestly, it makes it a little bit more challenging. But by now, half the time we'd have land in a large combine or something. A lot of that just comes down to price of things. Like I brought up before, I mean, it's tough to buy something when it's going to be significantly more expensive than what you could have gotten in 22. Yeah, once that land is bought, that'll be nice. Well, then we'll have a bunch of fields to obviously get to where we need them, which will mean we probably want a bigger fertilizer spreader, lime spreader, because otherwise that is not going to go very far. It doesn't go very far when I do these fields. I'll probably end up making some smaller fields over there first, because right now we just don't have the harvesting capacity to really handle larger fields. And like I said before, a harvester's gonna be like 300,000. Maybe a little bit under if we got a little bit smaller header at the start. It's not cheap. It's certainly not cheap. So that's just something that we'll have to keep in mind. It's gonna take a while for us to get to that point where we're making like really good money and we can actually afford that. I did cut the 2 trees that are in this path in the way. I got those cut finally. Yeah, they were literally like right in the middle of the road. Good to have a path coming up both ways now. Where do I want to park this at? We really don't have obviously parking spots for any of our equipment yet. We don't have sheds or anything, so makes it a little bit more difficult obviously getting things situated in here. Try to park things off to the side. At least out of the way. I suppose we can start working on canola harvests. We'll see how well these obviously yield us. These will be sold this winter time once it's a better price. I think it's November when they're a fairly good price. Didn't we just sell olives like last month? Yeah, there's already $9,000 at max price. Maybe it was the month before. Yeah, peas we have 48,000 at max, which I don't know if I've really ever seen that max price before. We'll see if you actually get that amount. I think this winter would be pretty good though. It'll at least get us some land. Then we'll have to start working towards other equipment as well as harvesters. I think as soon as we get that harvester, it's going to go a lot quicker. We'll be able to make some bigger fields, and we can do some bigger fields of soybeans and stuff, which should help us make a lot more money. Not sure how well steering assist will do on this. Yeah, this end piece on this. Oh yeah, like I've said, this end piece on this field is always kind of rough because it just goes all over the place. Yeah, the first end piece on this is always kind of rough. Especially with the camera, trying to get it not in the realm of being, obviously obstructed by trees and stuff. Looks like it's yielding fairly well. Not quite one full lap around, and we're almost at 1,000 liters. I'll say it's about $2,000 per 1,000 liters for this. Max price. Yeah. Which will be November, it looks like. Well, I think I'll go ahead and start with time lapse for this. I'll get this harvest done nice and quick. So I'll talk to everyone once the time lapse is done.
I know that fortune favored you with treasures I don't hold, and though the shine is dulled, that's how I'll always think of you. You were a young one then, but everyone begins. We were just children, heaven was a dream away, learning from from monsters. I wish I could say that the keys that you were searching for and the giants of the past have turned to dust. The world is ours to take, and no, it's not too late.
Alright, so we're just about done here. Oh, we are done here. Get this all unloaded. Looks like it'd be, what, 10 grand? So in total we should get, I don't know, probably at least 20 grand from both of these harvests. I'm hoping we can at least get both of the harvests done, get the fields plowed up, that one extended this month, and then next month we can worry about trying to get them limed and stuff. Although I'm not sure if this one needs it. I have not checked. It does. Kind of surprised this. Oh no, this one doesn't need it because I think I extended it some and then I did the whole field. That's probably why. You'll need it soon though. This one needing it tells me this one will need it as well. So we'll have a bunch of liming to do, which is not going to be cheap because we're going to have to buy a lot. At least I plan on buying a lot of it. I can probably sneak through here, honestly. It's going to go through very, very quickly. So it'll be one of those things I'll have to probably just bring the trailer down next to the field and do it that way. At least until we get a bigger spreader. Which are not cheap, so it's kind of a catch-22 if I can see it. Yep. Let's see, we have this one? Yeah. 650 liter capacity. Like this one would be a little bit bigger. But it would cost us, obviously, and it's not like that much bigger. I'd preferably try to go up to something like this, even that's 2,000 liters, and that's going to go through pretty quick at 27 meter width. These would be pretty good. Well, this one would be pretty good. You want something with a large capacity with lime, I've learned. Yeah, we probably could stick with standard or the 2x capacity. I think either one would be fine. I've seen trailers with 20,000 liter capacity in FS22, so it's at least somewhat realistic. This one is not too far away. So definitely possible. But that is that price? No. So that obviously that's 20 grand, and that's 20 grand we'd have to spend for something that we would only use for lime. Is that something we would desperately need to do right now? No. It's 20 grand for something you don't use much. That doesn't really make it worth it, in my personal opinion, at least. Until you get a lot more land, it's just not going to be worth it. I personally prefer lime in precision farming versus base game, just because you go through less, it seems. That's probably just because that's the way I'm used to, though. That's kind of how I've always, for most of it, played with lime on, so. Let's put steering assist on. This field is going to get a decent amount larger once we go to expand it. It'll be expanded up into that area there. Won't be a huge, difference, but definitely going to make the field a lot bigger. And considering this field as well as that one over there is our primarily crops that we put stuff in there that we're going to sell. That's probably what we're end up doing. And we're going to try to keep them the same. And that field there is probably going to run sorghum in it. Just so we always have enough for chickens. And if we get a big stockpile, maybe I'll do soybeans in it once or something. But for the most part, it's going to stick with the crops for the chickens. Long term, I would not be entirely surprised if you see these grass fields, or not these grass fields, these fields turn into grass fields long term. Like once we're, getting a little bit bigger and we're considering sheep, goats, or cows, something, we'll probably consider changing these to grass then. Outside of that field, probably. I have a feeling that field will be basically owie sorghum, and it's probably going to be enough for the chickens. We'll see. Obviously, 700 is a lot. But, it can always be expanded or something in the future. Well, I think I'll probably just start up another time lapse so we can get this field finished nice and quick. I'm not sure where my steering assist lines went. As I can pop them back up. Yeah. So I'll talk to everyone once the time lapse is done.
Not too late.
Alright, so we're just about done here. Get everything emptied into the trailer. We'll kind of see how it's sitting, but it looks like we've probably gotten more from this harvest than that field over there. We'll get this emptied. Yeah, I'll then probably grab the plow. We can start working on getting that piece extended in there. Kind of get the outline at least before we start working on obviously getting the fields plowed up. Next time we'll get lime, which we'll buy a bunch of lime because I highly doubt what we have on the farm will get us to the point where we can get all the fields done. Yeah, not even 2,000 liters. That is not going very far. Not far at all. Well, 10,500 liters from that, so we're still looking at 22,000, something like that. Pretty successful harvest, really. I can check in here. Canola. Yeah, 22, almost $23,000. Not too bad. And grab the plow, which I'm going to have to upright. It falls down like every time I detach it. Don't fall. There we go. It's not that big of a base, so if it's on like even the slightest incline, it'll just tip. I don't want to go too far in because then it does get pretty not flat in there, kind of rounded of an edge. Might not plant that well, might not harvest that well. Alright, got that, and well, I'm gonna start here down at the field because I want it to obviously line up evenly as much as I can. Best way to do that is to start here. Oh, that's a stump. I have to make sure I get all the stumps out of here too. I thought I cut them down, or I cut them out, but maybe not. Any more I see? I don't see any. Oh, there's one. That's one right there. Right out here. Yep, there we go. I should have cut them out when I was cutting the trees down. That would have made this a little bit better, because now I gotta try to find them later. It's not too easy in the taller grass, and I usually cut the stumps pretty low. There we go. I would say that's a decent expansion. It should show up in here. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty good amount. It's not huge, but it certainly will extend it by a good margin. Alright, I'll continue to fill in the blank obviously here, and we can get this fully filled out, and then obviously next time, like I said, we'll be doing the line. Oh, there's another stump. They should hopefully stick out a little bit better once it's plowed up. Hopefully, otherwise I'll probably find them later. It'll be nice to have a little bit bigger of a field here. And it did help us get more wood into the sawmill, so that'll be nice, obviously, especially long term as we slowly run through the wood in there. I don't know if we're really going to add that much more. Obviously, if we buy land and it has some trees on it, maybe, but especially if we buy far enough out, there's that little island there. Maybe I'd want to obviously cut those down and get them into a sawmill. Found another one. Because really we wouldn't have a use for it. Out there. Most of that it'll primarily be... Oh, there's another stump right there too. Who the heck cut these trees down? I thought I cut all the stumps. I really did. Oh, I see another one as well. I thought I did a fairly good job, but I'm being shown that I really did not. Is that another one there I just went over? Oh, it's just a small piece of wood. I'll put this in the corner and maybe I'll try to remember to put in the sawmill. It's not that big of a deal though. It's not that big of a piece. I want to get this whole thing open up before I do any sort of time lapse. I want to make sure I get all the stumps out of here. I see there's one more right there. I didn't see any others in that spot. I certainly don't see any more, so I think that is all of the stumps. don't see anymore. Unless I missed one. I want to get off create fields. Yeah. Don't really want to start plowing up pieces that I don't mean to actually plow up. So slowly and surely we'll have to get this field done too now. The rest of it done. Well, I think what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and start a time lapse. We can get this piece here finished out and then move on to the other field. So I'll talk to everyone once the time lapse is done.
Too late.
Alright, so we're just about done here with getting the fields all plowed up. Which, like I said before, we don't technically need to do it. Our planter is a direct drill, it's just devoid of weeds. And while doing this is far cheaper than buying a weeder or a hoe or buying herbicide and a sprayer, so it's just easiest this way, at least until we get some more fields. I'm gonna try putting this all over here. Maybe it won't be as tippy. Yeah, seems to stay. Well, I think I'll probably I'll have to get a bunch of lime, probably at least 10,000 liters. I'm thinking. I'd rather have too much than not enough because I know this field here will need it at some point here shortly. When we get these fields limed up, then we'll have to get them planted. And this field will need second layer fertilizer next month too. So we'll have a little bit busy of a month. So I might grab some bags of fertilizer too. That'll be a full trailer. Well, that is about everything for today. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.